Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Podcast Reviews Edition. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friends. I will start with the man with the pink headset, CHUBAX. How are you doing, CHUBAX?
Well, hello. Yeah, I'm tired, long day, but excited to be here. Happy to discuss our
And
reviews.
another one of our bestest best friend, all the way from the West Coast, waking up at an ungodly hour to join our reviews podcast is Arnie. Hello, Arnie.
Hello there.
There you go. If this is your first time watching us, thank you for your view. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to tell your friends and family that the Plus 63 HP Boys can be found video on demand on youtube.com/plus63HP. You can also interact with us with all of our socials. Just search plus 63HP in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll be there. We'll be there to talk with you and tell you all about what will be happening in our shows that particular week. And if you don't want to watch our faces, because one of our handsome boys is not here today, I just want to listen to us, put us in the background while you're doing your chores or working, whatnot. We are available in every single one of your favorite podcasting apps. We particularly like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon. A little bit of program reminders. We have three shows that drops every week, 4 days a week. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, we split the reviews show into two so that we can concentrate on a particular show or a particular movie. For this week, we are concentrating on Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes 4 to
Kenobi.
6, season one, hopefully. And we are also discussing the first half of Miss Marvel, episodes 1 to 3. That is, the both of them are on Disney Plus. It came out the past couple of weeks. On Wednesdays, we drop our recording of our very first D&D campaign. So we are 40-year-old men and a lady playing D&D for the very, very first time. We're recording it for posterity's sake. It has been fun. We're having a blast. So you can watch us go through our adventures every Wednesday. And on Thursdays, we have a curated list of shows, clips, featurettes, short videos, trailers, and whatnot that we react to. So we can show you guys what are the types of content that we can be hyped about, things to look forward down the line. So that is our housekeeping program reminders done this episode. We're very, very excited because the first season or the special event of Obi-Wan Kenobi just ended, and we're going to react to the back half of it. Before I turn it over to Arnie for the synopsis of the second half of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm going to start with just initial reactions of what you've thought of the back half of Obi-Wan Kenobi and the season in general. I'm going to start with you, Chubax. What are your quick initial non-spoilery reactions about Kenobi, and like how would you pitch watching this to people that might have not started the series yet?
Oh, it's Obi-Wan. You gotta watch Obi-Wan. I mean, that's pretty basic. That should be in your list of things to do. You gotta watch it. But my initial thoughts. Uh, I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was really good. But in context, for some reason, I was excited to watch Miss Marvel more. So that's
Oh,
just a
Mm,
little more, some of my
and
thoughts. I mean, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. Just that I think it was the prequel bug that bit me in this one.
mm,
Like some issues with
uh,
it being a, well, I guess
mm,
it's still a prequel. Like I think you can say that
yeah,
it's a prequel, right? So that
yeah.
hampered a lot. But hey, still loved it. Ewan McGregor's
very
amazing.
excited to discuss because I think you and I are in the same boat. But how about you,
hmm
Arnie? What do you think of Obi-Wan, the season in general? Initial thoughts and reactions.
Well, the particularly the finale. If you loved Star Wars, the original trilogy and the prequels, and basically everything. Yeah, so I did like the Michael Scott cry there towards the back end of the finale, but I agree with Chubax, and I will discuss more on why I property should stop doing prequels.
Mm,
Um, yeah, we'll dive into that. But basically, it's one of the, especially the back half of this series is one of the, I would say, favorites. I'm not gonna say best, but I'm going to say one of my favorite episodes of Star Wars in recent years. So let's put it that way. Yeah.
That's awesome. Like I guess we're all pretty much aligned here, and hopefully, like I'm excited to discuss why that is. But same, it's like it's one of the better pieces of television that I've seen
Really
in a very,
fun.
very long
Lots
time.
of
Yeah.
great scenes and
Yeah.
set pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've improved upon a lot of the weaknesses of the previous Star Wars Disney Plus series. Is like maybe it's COVID, maybe it's not, but the idea is it looks way better. It
Yeah.
feels way better. There's a lot of really good acting, and the casting was pretty
Deborah
solid
Chow was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Deborah
all
Chow.
around. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
I never really thought about the prequel part of it. Like I never thought like it can't end this way because we know that this is gonna happen on
Yeah.
episode 4, 5, 6. I never really thought about that. There were just some uh I think this is the perfect series where we'll discuss later about a show taking 3 steps forward and 1 step back. Every episode, there's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Next episode, 3 steps forward, 1 step
Mm-hmm.
back. There's always something
Hmm.
kind of like keeping it from
Mm-hmm.
becoming a masterpiece. It's good. I mean, that's the thing. I think overwhelming majority loves this show. Everybody would love to see a second season, despite whatever our feelings about prequels are. But you're right. There's something about the show itself that is just almost there, but that doesn't deter at least us from it, hopefully watching it more or enjoying it. It's enjoyable. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing, and it's something that it's visually appealing, solid story, couple of holes, but I'm excited to discuss. So, without further ado, before we dive deep into all of our thoughts and opinions about the series and the back half of the series itself, Arnie will run us through the back half of Obi-Wan Kenobi season 1.
All right. So I'm assuming our audience have watched the episode. So I'm just gonna do the major beats of the episode. So in episode 4, it's basically Leia got captured again by Riva, or she's captured by Riva.
Mm-hmm.
So Obi-Wan has to do a rescue mission at the Fortress Inquisitorius. So some interesting scenes. If you played Fallen Order, it should look familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Major beat there is that he finally saw what was hidden in that fortress. Basically, a room full of dead Jedi preserved in amber, including a youngling and an old Jedi that helped Ahsoka in one of her missions. So you could feel the fear and sadness from Obi-Wan when he found that. And of course, it's also a way for Obi-Wan to get back into fighting shape, as with the rescue mission with Tala. Um, and then, of course, Vader and Riva just doing their inquisitorious evil empire ways. So that's episode 4 when they escape. Episode 5 starts with a flashback of Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor playing the two brothers, basically Obi-Wan and Anakin, which was a beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People complained about the de-aging. I didn't. I found it okay. I mean, I'd rather them spend more money on choreography and story than de-aging Hayden.
I'd rather them look a little bit older than
Exactly.
look fake.
Exactly. Because remember when
At
Luke
least it's
first came
him.
out?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least it's him. And then because remembering when the first time we got Luke Skywalker back, people kept complaining it looked fake. Like, well, okay, then now this
Well,
the
it's
older
different
character.
because he's like
Totally different.
40,
Yeah.
50 years
He,
older.
he's like a 40-year-old Padawan, put it that way, or But anyways, I mean, it was a fun scene, and then of course we get the beat of um, the siege in Jabim because Riva put a tracker on Lola, and then we found out more of Riva's backstory, which we'll discuss more later. But it made sense, and the thing is that her end goal was to actually kill Vader. Uh, and then and then it solved one of the fans' complaints about the Grand Inquisitor. So he's alive. So
It
canon
shouldn't
is
even
still
have
there.
been a complaint until the
It
season,
should,
until the series ending. You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
And they didn't
I,
explain why he was alive.
yeah, I mean,
Oh well, in Star Wars, I mean, Darth Maul is alive. They cut him in half, and he's still alive.
yeah,
So I don't think
we'll
that's a plot hole really, because
yeah, we'll talk more about that. But especially some of the Star Wars fans are not really patient when it comes
I
to
know. And I think
unraveling the story.
his race, he has like two stomachs.
Two
The
stomachs.
stomachs, yeah,
Oh, but even then, I mean,
yeah.
you have a character who's cut in half and fell like 1,000 feet, and he's walking
I
around in
mean,
Rebels, and nobody's complaining about him. So,
yeah,
like,
and dude, Vader. I mean, basically all the limbs are gone, burned alive. I mean, sure, right?
yeah.
Anyways, so that's basically it. It's just but episode 5 is particularly more of the flashback and explaining how Obi-Wan kept winning against Vader, with the exception of episode 3. But you know, at full power, that's the reason why Obi-Wan kept winning, even though Anakin is the more talented one, right? And then
It was so
episode
Anakin.
6. Yeah, he was so Anakin. Wow, I mean, it's really good. It's really good. And then that last scene when Vader was pulling down the transport ship. So Force Unleashed,
Powerful
anyone?
time.
So that's really good. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's like it's an amazing episode 5, and then we thought, oh, okay, maybe episode 6 will not be as good. Nope, we were all wrong, and episode 6 started with basically um being the chase that kind of mimicked the opening scene of episode 4, A New Hope. That basically the big Star Destroyer chasing this transport ship. Obi-Wan tried to separate with the core group so that they could escape and Vader would follow him, and he was right. Um, and then Leia coming into her own, like she's starting to believe in this whole rebellion and starting to become a leader herself. So she's trying to comfort the families and all that stuff. And then, of course, the rematch that we've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
But again, with episode 3, people were so disappointed. Like, yeah, I mean, we'll discuss more later about that. But this one is the rematch, and wow, like Vader getting high ground, still doesn't matter. Obi-Wan doing the Final Fantasy meteor attack, amazing. And then of course the if for people who watched Rebels, it's gonna be a spoiler, like a good mirror image or a bookend
Yeah.
moment when he kind of opened up Vader's mask the same way Ahsoka did.
But the other
Uh,
side, right?
but the other side. And then in episode 6, Return of the Jedi, Luke was the one who removed the
Took it
entire
off.
mask. So it's a good. I think
Good,
that's a
good.
little bit
Yeah.
of.
Nice
I think
symbolisms there.
They know
yeah.
what they're doing. They know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
I think Filoni, maybe Lucas kind of had a influence on that because yeah, that's something that Filoni would write or something like that. Yeah, but basically the main part of that fight is that Obi-Wan was able to apologize to Anakin, take accountability, take responsibility for failing him, and Anakin in some way forgiving
Accepted
him. Like no,
in a bit, in a
yeah,
fucked
in a
up
bit.
way.
In a fact, but the thing is, that's the good in him. Like, no, Obi-Wan, I wasn't your failure. I did this to myself. So now I'm gonna kill you. So the whole conflict of good and bad within Anakin, right? And then we got the Obi-Wan scream, which is I still think the Kenobi scream by Maul is better, but this one is very haunting with the James Earl Jones and Hayden voice.
Yeah,
So
combined.
that's really amazing there. And I think the weaker part of the episode was the Reva versus Beru and Owen.
Yeah, the heel
Uh,
turn. Mhm.
the heel turn, I mean, which we were kind of like implied earlier, the stakes were not really there because we know Owen and Beru makes it in episode 4, New Hope, and then of course Luke makes it. So it's just the part when she decided not to kill Luke was the point of that storyline, of that arc. So yeah, I bought it. It's okay. She did really good acting for that scene. But again, it's the problem with prequels, right? So we'll talk more about that later. And then finally, Obi-Wan meeting Leia one more time to return Lola, telling her about Padme and Anakin without giving them their names, and then her accepting the Organas as her true parents. Basically, that's all she needs. And then Obi-Wan going back to Owen, basically say, let Luke be Luke. I'm not gonna interfere anymore. And then he finally gets to meet Luke and then deliver the classic line, "Hello there," which I think CHUBAX has a funny meme. I don't know if that's part of the recording when you played it earlier. We could play it later.
Yeah.
And then when he was, moving his place to the Dune Sea, or I think that's Beggar's Canyon where he's going towards, we finally see Qui-Gon Jinn,
Yay, finally.
the Jedi with a certain set of skills, learned from a lifetime of experience.
Also, the
So
only one that did not survive a stabbing in the gut.
exactly, but there were some explanations about that as well. I think it's legit, but yeah, I mean, to see Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn, and then implying that there's going to be training. I mean, basically the episode ended well. It could be just a standalone series, like
That was good.
we're fine with it. It also opens up a possibility for season 2, maybe Obi-Wan's training or some more missions that's not related to the Skywalkers. But like I said, if this is just a one-time deal, I'm okay with it. We don't need to force it if it's not going to happen.
No, I would be open to a season 2 where it's not
Yeah.
the Empire, or it's not Vader, it's not the
Yeah,
Inquisitors.
it's something
Yeah.
different.
Just
something
some
different.
sort. Actually,
Or
I don't want
actually-
it to be Vader because it's gonna be like a rehash already of a rehash. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. It could
I'm
be like, like maybe a little tie into Andor. Like maybe we'll see Obi-Wan and Andor in one episode, or a totally different, maybe Riva and Obi-Wan, or maybe Ahsoka would come in. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be tied to Vader
it
or
shouldn't actually.
Luke. Yeah, it shouldn't have to be with Vader, Luke, and Leia. Basically, it has to be Obi-Wan basically just learning more about the Force, or helping out the rebellion, or some other adventure that he could do.
Or you could just do a whole season of Vader just fucking people up.
Oh,
That too.
that's not gonna be Kenobi. It's gonna be
Yeah,
a Vader series.
that'll be
Half and half.
like it could be like a Vader anthology, like the Acolyte, right? Basically.
Vader miniseries. Like a Kenobi, but a Vader miniseries.
Yeah,
But
and Hayden says he wants to do it. If he's called upon, he could still do it. I mean, I'm actually more into like the Jedi stories, like the flashbacks from the Republic and all that stuff.
I'm tired. I want new things.
And that's why Taika. I mean, I'm practically done with the recap. But Taika Waititi, the reason why he's taking so long to finish his Star Wars project, because he wants nothing to do with what's been shown.
Yeah.
Which is good, and that's fine. And it's a big world, as you could see. I mean, it can't all be in Tatooine. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, that's basically Kenobi the series. Oh yeah, Haja made it. He's alive. Roken is alive.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we lost Ned B and Tala,
Tala.
which is sad. But again, that's also a problem of the prequels. We know Kenobi's not gonna die. We know Vader's not gonna die. We know a few of the Inquisitors will not die. We know the Luke and Leia and the Lars family is not gonna die. But the new characters, we did end up losing Tala and Ned B, which is so sad. So there you go. I mean, again, the finale is, yeah, it delivered, and I'm happy about it. Yeah.
And with all of that information in the last 3 episodes of Kenobi, CHUBAX, favorite things that you liked about the series and the things that you kind of are worried the most.
So yeah, especially the back half, like the highs were high. Like
Mhm.
so episode 4 was yeah, he was starting to get back in the groove in the in Vader's base. Um, some good stuff there. And then when we get to 5, then that was a good piece of episode. Like, the siege,
Mm-hmm.
the Obi-Wan talking to Riva. That was so good. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
between the door,
Finally figuring
finally
it out.
figure
When
and
she was a youngling.
I love Riva. Everything about her. I love the
Mm-hmm.
acting. I love the character. I love the story. I don't know what they're talking. The other people are so up in arms
Oof.
about.
There's
Um,
racist.
Now we're gonna
Probably
have to disagree about that because I'm with the peoples.
you didn't
Riva,
like
I
her
think,
act.
is the weakest Star Wars character that I've seen, only next to Jar Jar Binks.
Oh
Oh,
wow, hot take,
I think
hot take.
for me, no, I like her because uh, she has good backstory and the acting was good,
Mhm.
and the chemistry with Obi-Wan was there, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Vader. What else can we say? They brought it to Vader, Vader with the starship. With
Mm-hmm.
the stars, the Force scene, Vader versus Riva was like, well,
Matrix.
it was like, yeah, it's like, what else? It's like John Wick versus like an amateur. Like he was like
Yeah,
showing him the ropes and like taunting him and like fucking him up at the same time.
yeah.
And
Well, it shows how nerfed the Inquisitors are compared to Vader.
Mhm.
Because in the canon, the Inquisitors are just like either former Jedi or just Force users who never really got their full
mm-hmm.
potential, basically,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
So
So
it's like they were just toying. I mean, they're not even regular Jedi's, right? And then
yeah,
Vader's like the strongest Jedi, so or the
yeah.
strongest. So it's like he was really playing with his food. Like that was what
Hmm.
one of the reactions I saw. Is like,
Oh yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Like,
he got when he got the double lightsabers, like, and then he split it up, and they said, oh, he's gonna kill him.
And gave
And they gave one.
yeah,
Oh
here,
shit, he's
here.
playing with his food. My God,
Yeah.
so that was cool.
She's
And
like,
then
I need to warm up to Kenobi. Okay,
yeah,
here.
and then
Yeah,
and then the episode 6 was great. Like the fight scene
yeah.
was there's nothing I can. The only thing, well, there everything I got everything I wanted and more from the fight scene, except for the thing
Hmm.
that they couldn't change. They were handcuffed. They couldn't.
Exactly.
My
he couldn't
issue
kill
was
either.
Like,
why didn't he kill Vader?
yeah, and
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
we
That
know,
was my main issue. It's like
yeah, and we know that Kenobi's not gonna lose a hand. We know the injuries are going. There's not a lot of critical hits,
yeah.
basically,
So
right?
so as great as like Deborah Chow and Filoni were, they're still handcuffed by what's because it's a prequel, so they couldn't.
Yeah,
There's no leeway there.
yeah,
And but they could have. I just think they could have found a way to do it better that he didn't kill Vader because
yeah,
I was discussing this with Fort and separately with Danny, and there was like an article that said it made sense. Like, uh, uh,
mercy, showing mercy.
we see how troubled Kenobi was when he
Yeah.
thought he killed Anakin,
Yeah,
and
And
now
he never did. He could never end Anakin.
no
yeah,
He could
but he
never.
thought he did in
He
the
thought he
film.
yeah,
did. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
And the
he
thing is,
but he
it
did not actively did it like
yeah,
this
but
way.
yeah,
it fucked him up. So now
yeah,
it was like the way I see it is like so he chose not to kill him like mercy and also
yeah,
it's not in him. He knows that he cannot
exactly.
kill
And the thing is,
Anakin. Also,
if you remember,
like
yeah,
the Empire, it's like it's like strategically it's not gonna change anything if he takes Vader off the
yeah,
board. Maybe
yeah,
the number of lives lost will be a less smidge less, but
Oh my god.
yeah,
That's I've heard that in two of the podcasts that I
yeah,
listened to. Like
yeah,
imagine how smaller the empire would have been. if
for me,
yeah,
I don't know because there was no active
yeah,
rebellion yet. So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's like the debate there. But I
yeah.
still,
And the thing is, and the
go.
thing is, if you remember the dialogue in episode 5 about the Jedi's way is to preserve life, not take it. So by not killing Anakin, Obi-Wan kept true to the Jedi principles.
Eh,
But of
well,
course, there.
wait, I have my own
Well,
issues
there,
with the Jedi
well,
principles.
yeah, yeah, well, for me, Obi-Wan is if you're just looking at the model Jedi, I
Oh,
mean,
he is.
even better,
Yeah, definitely. He is.
even better than Yoda, because
Oh, dude,
that's
Yoda's not even in the top 100 best Jedi.
exactly. That's why, like, that's why in episode 5 and episode 6, when they were trying to convince Luke to kill Vader, I think it's the final test for Luke if he
And
is actually a Jedi,
in
right?
my head, that's more like this is more like the excuse I'm making for myself, where
Yeah,
this Obi-Wan's Obi-Wan not killing Vader in episode 6 here is his Bilbo scene with Gollum, where Gandalf
yeah,
tells Frodo na you don't know why he didn't kill him, maybe in the future
e-
it will be a good thing.
exactly,
But it's
exactly.
still, if you think at it logically, the best thing was to kill him right now, right
Yeah.
then and there.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue, well, maybe Alderaan, knowing what happened to Alderaan, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, maybe we should have taken him off the board. But again, Palpatine would have found a new apprentice. Maybe the Inquisitor will be the new apprentice. It would still happen the same way. And in a way, I think at least this Grand Inquisitor, until he met Kanan, was fully committed to the dark side because he was so disillusioned with the Jedi and he joined,
Yeah, but that's a big assumption. But
But
still,
yeah,
I
and
understand
this
that
is
Obi-Wan wanted either the Jedi Code, or
Mhm.
he was selfish for the first time, and I think for the first time in his life,
yeah,
like, I'm gonna watch myself. I'm gonna watch for myself. Fuck the
yeah,
universe. I
yeah,
gave everything for the
yeah,
past
yeah.
30 years
And
of
the
my
thing is,
life, 40 years. So now I'm gonna watch out for myself. I'm gonna do my mental health, and my
yeah,
mental health says not to kill
yeah,
Vader. So
yeah,
after that, he
and
saw Qui-Gon. It was
yeah,
fine with
yeah,
it.
exactly. And that's why I think he said Miss Marvel, like, good is not what you are, good is what you do, right? So with Kenobi, yeah, he could have killed Vader and still be the good guy, but he's not going to be good because, well, I actively took a life, and basically at that point it could be in cold blood if he just killed Vader right then and there, right? But no, like I said, it's for my own way to let go of my attachments. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to show you mercy. I'm going to show you that it is also a way to defeat the enemy, is to show mercy. Basically, Batusai, right? You know, it takes more power to to spare a life than to take one, right?
I just, for me, it's like I never, because they are brothers, they
Yeah.
are Padawan, and he already went through the grief of thinking that Vader died once.
Hmm.
I just think he's like physically incapable of
Killing Anakin.
Doing that again.
ending
Yeah.
Anakin, even if Anakin himself told him, like, no, you didn't kill Anakin, I did. Right? Because Anakin is
Yeah.
no longer there. That's all just Darth Vader. So in a way, there's a little bit of poetry in there, and in a way, there's uh, one of those things where it's so, for us, it's so simple, but it's also so simple to understand why he was never going to do it.
And
Like,
dude,
it's just
Hmm. Hmm.
shout out to the Anakin James Earl Anakin voice.
Yeah.
the
Sometimes
best.
it's one, sometimes it's the other, sometimes it's combined. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
so.
I
Who
mean,
would
shout
have
out
thought
to.
50 years later we're still getting James Earl Jones as Darth
Well,
Vader?
see, that's another
I
discussion that
mean,
I've been hearing a lot about how. So all of this is all of Vader's voice is samples of James Earl Jones. So this
yeah.
is just kind of like one of those synthesized voices that Lucasfilms did, because James Earl Jones is 90 years old. He's no longer
Yeah.
recording new lines, so they
Yeah.
just strip all of his lines and they just type it in the
It
computer, and then
still sounds
It's
good, but
basically
it's
it's like it's
it's
Google
AI
Maps.
now.
It's Google
So
Maps.
yeah, so it's very scary that this done, but also used properly, we can have these characters forever.
forever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? So it's
Exactly.
kind of like great. Not great for like James Earl Jones's family, their dad, their grandpa, their great grandpa's voice is being used forever, but hopefully they
They
signed
paid it. They
a
got
deal.
paid. They got
Uh,
paid.
But
but
yeah, for me,
the thing
that's
that I
I'll
wanted
go.
to
Go
kind of
Joe.
like point out is, for me, is I love, that's the thing, this series, everything revolving around Obi-Wan, right? It's great. Like, if it's
Hmm.
if what every time Obi-Wan is on the screen, it's great. The problem with uh third sister
Mhm.
And not gonna lie, one of the great actress, great actor,
Mhm.
great portrayal of the character, horrible character.
Mhm.
If you just take away all the most amazing fight scene that I've ever seen in Star Wars history, because that is the number one fight scene, lightsaber versus force.
Yeah.
Never seen that, and that was so good,
Yeah.
so good. Like Vader, even just like the slight movements of his hand, twisting, turning him, getting the saber, giving it back, getting both sabers, finding one on one. It's like it's the best. I mean, I
Mhm.
think I like that slightly better than the Obi-Wan Vader fight scene. Although
Mm.
the Obi-Wan Vader fight scene was also great because all
Mhm.
of the Hadouken that they were doing, all of
Yeah.
the
Meteor attack.
force force rock, that was great. But
Yeah.
if you just look and step back, so the third sister's plan, having been survived as a youngling,
Mhm.
right? Yes, let's take and talk out you're a child. You watch your friends die, grow cold, hiding in their dead bodies,
Mhm.
surviving. That will fuck up your mind. You're deaf. You're broken. Period.
Mhm.
Let's take
Mhm.
that into account. So your plan is to be a Grand Inquisitor for 10, 15 years, 10 years, to get close to Vader, to kill Vader.
Mm.
Okay. You've been close to him many, 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 many times. You've seen him kill kids in episode 2. He literally like broke a kid in the force, just like walking around.
Mhm.
Okay, when was the plan going to happen? You did not need Obi-Wan to bring
I
Vader
think he
to
did,
you.
dude. She was never alone with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, never
Never
alone.
alone. She
Okay,
never had a shot.
let's get that. Never alone with him, but your plan was just to wait
Yeah.
and
Yes,
watch
I can see it.
everybody die
Yeah.
No, dude, she
on
doesn't.
your hand.
No, 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 dude. She doesn't care anymore. She doesn't care about
Yeah.
anybody anymore. She's not
I
doing it
I
for the
I
good of.
totally agree with that.
She
What
doesn't
I
do it
did
for the
not
good of
the thing that
anybody.
kind of like when the argument falls apart is like, okay, you're killing other people so that you can be close
Vader.
to Vader.
Vader. Mm.
Also, we also know that she knows that Darth Vader is Anakin,
Mm-hmm.
and she knows that Obi-Wan is Anakin's
Master.
Jedi
Master.
Master. That's why she was hunting.
Him.
She was
Mm-hmm.
very, 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 very obsessed about Obi-Wan,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
right? All that fact, cool. That part of the argument, great. What's not
Yeah.
part of the cool part of the argument? You yourself killing kids, and you yourself killing everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
All she cares
But
about is Vader. She's
yeah,
she's
and the
she's
thing
a
is,
dark side na.
I think
There's
she is a
no.
better,
I don't think
like in term.
there's a a problem there with her logic anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
oh,
I,
then there we'll have to agree to disagree because
yeah.
when
Well.
I after I got enamored with the fight scenes, I
Yeah.
understood why people hate the character. So, barring the racism, of course, take away the racism part, but I understood why the people are looking at this. It's like, this is what kind of character is this? Like the
Uh. I will.
Ringerverse Midnight Boys, I love them to
Okay.
death. They're the ones who were like, shit, that is right. Like
Well,
your tactic is
I'll give you a point of comparison. So remember Hux, right? In the sequels. So he was basically like
nobody remembers Shocks in the
I don't
sequels.
remember.
well, but again, Domhnall Gleeson never got the bullying that she got. But the character heel turn was also dumb. Like, oh, I don't care. I just want Kylo Ren to lose. Like, really? That's your motivation? So it's almost like the same motivation. I just want Vader to lose. So I just want revenge from Vader. Whereas with Hux, he's just a hater of Kylo Ren. So he betrayed him. He became the mole or something like that. So in terms of bad character writing or character arcs, it's on the same level, right? I think Riva is ahead a little bit because she does have a good motivation,
Mm.
right? But in terms of how the actors were treated, as far as I know, there was no bullying of Domhnall Gleeson as Hux, even though he sounded so whiny and petulant and all that stuff. So that's the part that we don't like about the fandom here. I agree. The character, like in a way, if we took out Riva from this series, would it still work? Yes. The Grand Inquisitor could be the one hunting Kenobi. He still finds him. Vader and Kenobi still gets the rematch. Perfectly fine. I mean, Riva could have been her own show, like maybe the Star Wars
Yeah.
Acolyte could have been her, or like
No,
they could have
Acolyte
done
is
it.
1,000 years before.
Yeah, but before they made that announcement, it could have been her story, or it could be like a Star Wars
No, I
dark
don't know.
side, or
For me, I because she went dark side. Why would she justify? Why would
No, I mean it's not
she
about
be
being
worried
a
about
dark side,
kids?
light side. It's just
yeah,
being a dumb dumb person. That's kind of like
yeah,
No,
the
I
her,
most
mean,
basic
dude,
part
if
is like you
somebody
want to
kill,
be close
if
with
you want to kill
Vader.
someone, you'll do anything you want. Isn't that
Yeah, no,
yeah,
most
yeah,
revenge
yeah,
stories?
but
You don't
yeah.
her
care
not he
about
just
anything. You don't
if
care
your
about being a
Well,
argument is
hypocrite.
just being alone with somebody.
another story is like Law-Abiding Citizen. If you watch that Jared Butler action drama, right? So he wants revenge from the people that killed his family. So he basically and the
No, I
people
mean
that filled.
we're over. That's the thing. Is like
Yeah,
we don't need to justify or over philosophize this. You
yeah,
want to be close with somebody. I'll need to double check, but from what I remember of what other podcast has kind of like analyzed about Riva's intentions, she's been and the Inquisitors has been near and around Vader multiple times. Maybe not alone. We could never figure out, but I know
yeah,
in one of the episodes, she was definitely one on one with Vader, and Vader was
When?
yeah,
in a much more prone position than outside.
yeah.
Like when he
And
was
the thing,
called in.
yeah, and the thing
When?
is,
When was she one
her
on
plan.
one with Vader?
I think episode 2 when she got called in and she fucked up. It was just Vader in a chair and her.
Yeah,
Right.
and the thing is, her plan to kill him. Like, okay, you know who he is, Vader
You know
slash
where the
Anakin.
Bacta tank is.
Yeah,
So you
yes,
spike the Bacta tank, you
you could
blow
have.
up the entire building, including you.
You,
There's
you,
10,000 other ways than to. Well, the counter argument to my argument is if she wanted to kill Obi-Wan as well.
mm,
So she because Obi-Wan was Anakin's Jedi Master.
master, and
So
he wasn't there when Anakin was slaughtering people,
100
and
or didn't
yeah,
stop or
yeah,
I mean, he was riding a lizard when
yeah,
Anakin was
yes,
slaying all the kids, right? But so yeah, the counter argument's like
For
maybe
me, my
she
counter
wanted to
argument
kill Obi-Wan
is
first and then she'd
if I
kill
was
Anakin.
Vader, none of the Inquisitors would have access to my Bacta tank.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and the
Na,
thing too is like, so if you remember in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Yoda Kenobi went back to the temple. So if she really hid amongst the dead bodies, she's like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm still alive. Can you help me?"
we don't know how
yeah,
long they've been
maybe
Eh,
there.
there's a series about how she got
We don't
exactly,
even know
and
how Grogu got out.
yeah,
exactly right. So there's a lot more things that they could fill in either by
yeah, they could.
comics, books, video games. So the series, while it answered a few questions, it also leads up to more options of more stories. But again, just like with the prequel rant that we had earlier, if we want more high stakes, we can't
You
be
can't do
like
it
with
here.
Yeah, it can be.
we can't.
It's
Yeah,
difficult.
it's
But though
difficult.
I have to say, the fight scene between Vader and Obi-Wan here, it just destroys the fight scene in episode 3.
See, yeah, oh my god.
Oh
Well, see, that
yes.
was
Cause
so that was
that fight scene was what, like 19 minutes of just vong vong, like
Yeah, yeah.
there's
And
no,
the
there
yeah,
was
and the thing is,
no, di ba, Jong, what they say always in the stunt analyze, there has to
yeah,
be a story with the fight scene.
there's a story.
yeah,
There's no story in the episode. They were just swinging their lightsabers for
yeah,
20 minutes.
yeah. And the thing is,
But back then we didn't have as much like body of knowledge
technology.
there. But
Yeah,
now you're right though. This is again not in this series has the best use of all Star Wars archetypes ever.
mhm,
Best use of force, best use of lightsabers, best
yeah,
use of guns, bombs, best use of fucking robots. Like
yeah,
everything they did was good here, but this is
yeah,
kind of showing that there's two ways. One, oh my god, all those old movies suck, and then now
yeah,
or the next movies are even gonna be greater because you have that. Oh,
True.
yeah,
you're gonna have to
yeah,
top that TV
Yeah.
show where they were like
Yeah.
pulling
And
down mountains on each other. That was
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
dope.
and the thing is like this fight. So remember with the lightsabers. So the first time we saw a lightsaber with the new Star Wars shows, like with Ahsoka, like it looked like a fluorescent lamp that the light is actually affecting the background,
Mhm.
right? Because in Revenge of the Sith, those lightsabers, you don't really see the blue affecting the skin. The light's not really
Except,
falling on their skin.
except, did you remember episode 2 where it was Anakin and Dooku?
Mm.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah,
okay,
technology. This is where we like. All right, we have
that
actual
that
lightsabers now that can handle.
yeah, they have
the-
NeoPixel Graphics.
But
The
yeah,
actual,
this
c-
I'm just
yeah,
tired of. I'm to be honest, I'm tired of the prequels. Of any prequel. That's why I'm. Even though a lot of people are praising their push for the High Republic, the novels and stuff,
yeah,
it's still set 900 years before this. So it's
yeah.
like we still know
Well,
where
at
it's
least
heading.
with the High Republic, the only character that I know that overlaps is Yoda. So yeah,
And
as long
that's
as as long,
it's that sucks. Because
yeah,
Yoda sucks. Yoda brought it
yeah.
from the High Republic down to the Empire, all on his watch.
Yeah,
poor,
yeah,
Can you
poor
imagine
Yoda,
that?
he just hid
yeah,
and shit. Oh,
He went from
yeah,
Grandmaster of the High Republic, where Jedi's were like gods, to the Empire, hiding in
yeah.
where they go
They
back.
go back. They
What
go
the
back. Yeah.
fuck? And
But
what are we gonna see
that's
that
why.
fall again? Like,
I mean, no, I'd like to see High Republic characters. Maybe except Yoda. Maybe he could do a cameo or two, but not. Yeah, nothing leading towards the Yoda storylines. I actually want to see Old Republic, like the Revan storylines, because at least that's thousands of years. I mean, they could still kill off
oh
Revan
no
and
no no!
still not affect.
With Old Republic,
Yeah,
that's you can do anything because
yeah,
yeah,
it's
like
thousands of years.
anything,
That's just
thousand
yeah,
years.
you can just it's
yeah,
just like another setup. It can be in the basically you can put it anywhere. So
yeah.
that's why I want new stuff. Give me new stuff.
Exactly. And that's why with Andor, like the only reason I'm excited for Andor is because yes, we know Cassian Andor dies in Road One. We know that. But it's the setup to rebellion. So I want to see more Mon Mothma. I want to see more rebellion stuff. Not a lot of Jedi, not
And
maybe some
that's more
Empire
of
story.
espionage. So it's kind of new. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah, it's
enjoy
Yeah.
no,
that.
Yeah.
it's not tied to the
Yeah.
main
That's why
Exactly.
storyline.
that's why I like Mando as well because even though it's like between 6 and 7, it's
Yeah.
not
It's
gonna
its
hit.
own.
It's not gonna hit episode 7, 8, or 9. It's
Yeah.
gonna be on its own.
Exactly. So
So
For a while there, we didn't even know that the Lukes and the Ahsokas were gonna be there, and it was still
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
It was a
exactly.
standalone story. Like
Exactly.
so
So
uh,
yeah, and again, like, even with Marvel with Black Widow, I know she survives this. so, so
that so even in the last episode where I fucking love the Anakin and Obi-Wan was like the dialogue, the action,
oh yeah,
the tone, and even the setting. Like I know that there's a few spots there. It's like, ooh, the volume did not work too hard on this part, but I'll give you a pass.
yeah,
But during the part with like, why are we fucking watching Riva? You know that she's not gonna kill Luke. Like, Luke is
exactly.
gonna be in the fucking next movie. It's like, why are we wasting so much time here?
And the thing
But I
is,
did like badass Luke, Owen and
Beru.
Beru.
Oh
Like
man,
in the end, it's like I wish it was something they just instead of I think the heel turn of I hope like my bet was the heel turn happened before she
Luke.
got to I hope she was gonna go there and say, instead of killing Luke, it's like protect Luke. If I
Yeah,
found you, they will. Something
yeah,
to that sort. I wish that was
exactly.
happened. Because like I thought that was a waste of what, 10 minutes of her
Yeah,
running after a fucking kid and then doing a
yeah,
heel turn about, oh, I'm gonna be like Anakin who killed the younglings. Bro, you already killed multiple kids.
yeah,
What he had the same robe as you? Like that was again, it's one of those things where this episode was so I watched it 3 times,
yeah.
back to back to back. And then every time because I was trying to understand why Riva, Owen, Beru, and Obi-Wan and Vader. Why is that? It's like, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm just gonna watch fucking Obi-Wan Hadouken the shit out of Vader
Yeah, I
from
mean
the
it's almost like if in Revenge of the Sith, instead of getting the 19-minute straight lightsaber fight, we get a scene with Jar Jar. Like, wait, no, 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 go back to the lightsabers. Go back to the lightsabers.
and I think that happened too. Like they were cutting back and forth from that, and then what's happening with Naboo, right?
No, I think when they started fighting, like I think it's the Battle of the Heroes or something like that. It was like 19 minutes straight shot. Like it's not a one shot scene because it's impossible to do
No,
that for
for
19
me,
minutes.
I
But
wanted to cut it away. They've been swinging this shit for 5 minutes straight.
yeah,
Like, can you show me
it's just
something
like
else?
okay, like they're not damaging each other. Yeah, but yeah,
But no,
again,
I agree
yeah,
with the I do like the turn. I just didn't like the
yeah,
placement. But
Yeah.
I am
yeah,
excited. I hope we see her. I hope we see more Riva. I hope we see more Roken. I hope we see more Aja
broken. The
in the
Haja, yeah,
future.
yeah, yeah.
So that there are
Or
good stuff there, but it's still a prequel. They're
yeah,
like they're on rails. You know those games with the on rails. You
Yeah.
can only
yeah.
And that's
zigzag
right.
so much before you have to go back.
Yeah, but this new characters, at least with Roken and Haja, since we've never seen them in Rogue One or anything, they could be inserted
And it's
Anywhere.
elsewhere.
the usual backdoor pilot. Like,
Yeah,
dude, I will also my last thoughts before we start wrapping this up. Fell in love with Tala. Tala had the best,
Tala.
amazing backstory, amazing acting, even a fucking amazing droid.
Droid.
And
Yeah,
I understand why they had to sacrifice a character like Tala to really make us feel how important the cause is and
yeah.
how she really was
Unlike
that.
Wade,
Yeah,
unlike Wade.
like she was really damaged with the things that she did
Yeah,
in behalf of the empire. So I
yeah.
understand why they had to kill her, but like, man,
Because at least with her we care about her. Because when they killed off Wade, like, oh, who's that guy? We don't care.
I really wish that that you know what, she had more,
More scenes.
episodes, or maybe, I mean, I would love like a series of Tala doing the sabotaging empire from the inside.
Like maybe she bumped into Galen Erso. We never know, right? So that could have been a nice tie-in, right? So yeah, I agree, John. Like I wish there was more stories with Tala.
But I understand you had to sacrifice one that, people were like, oh, that we're talking about. Like,
Yeah, because we
uh,
care about that character, not Wade.
oh my god, dude. Made Wade super memorable character.
Like,
I think we have enough discussion about Obi-Wan.
yeah,
Final thoughts before we close out. We start with you, Chubax.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I enjoyed it. Starting to get sick of prequels though,
Mm. And
and
we
yeah,
have to rate it too. So
is this the series or just the last three?
I think it's best if we rate the entire series up to this point, because like, so when people can watch this, they can be guided on how hyped they should be in watching in
Okay,
watching.
I'll go with an 8.
wow.
The highs could have been 9 and a half, maybe close to 10, but there were some low points as well, and some holes. So I'll go with an
Arnie?
8.
I'll
Definitely watch it.
uh, definitely watch this. I enjoyed most of it. Most again, like the Riva in the last scene, the heel turn. Yeah, it could have been placed elsewhere. Uh, I'm still ranking it at 10 because I'm just loved it. Uh, uh, Flaws and all.
Yeah, it's
But
fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Just
but
careful.
but I also agree with Chubak. Like there's a lot of like if you're going to write more prequel stories or something that happened between you know the two trilogies, it can't be tied into the main story arc anymore. It has
Mm.
to be either something to do with the rebellion or the empire. Nothing that ties in with Anakin or Luke or the main where the characters that can't die because just because it's tied to something that we already know it's canon. So yeah, I agree with you, Max.
I am a solid 8 on this series. It is fun, same like CHUBAX.
Yeah.
Highs were extremely high. Ewan McGregor had acting masterclass here. Like I love
Yeah.
his I love it when he does like just the look. Like
Mhm.
whenever he's not speaking.
Yeah,
When he's
yeah.
speaking, it's great. But if he's just
Yeah.
like thinking and looking, like that is
The
quite
pain, the
Yeah.
I even just when even in the first episodes when he was just in the transport coming back from the giant tuna fish that they were
Mhm.
harvesting and not speaking,
Yeah.
it kind of really shows like how he turned into a hermit. So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Best action scenes again. I cannot stress
Yeah.
enough that I will just rewatch the fight scenes from this series whenever I get bored because I love
Deborah Chow. Good job.
the
Double check.
Riva Vader fucking like even just like Vader walking into that town fucking people up, killing
Yeah.
kid,
Yeah.
the best. And then of
Yeah.
course the Obi-Wan Vader fight, and then
Yeah.
the James Earl Jones, Hayden Christensen mashup was
Voice. Yeah. Yeah.
chef's kiss. But
So
again, there's still so many things that I just like I think I'm at the point where we are just giving MCU, Disney Plus, Star Wars a lot of passes because they've given us a lot of quality stuff.
yeah.
But there are holes. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna let it fly anymore. It's like, you know what, COVID is done. Like we're or at least, if there's like bad CGI, you gotta call it out. But also there's
Yeah.
certain things about the character that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Too bad. Luckily, 80% of the show is great.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the next stuff. Right?
MVPs. MVPs.
Ooh, MVPs.
For me, it's little Leia, baby Leia.
Oh, little Leia.
Her and Tala, but more of baby Leia.
CHUBAX.
I'd go with Vader. I was surprised with how much Vader we got.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think we'd get this
I
much
was
Vader.
so surprised too. Very happy. And same with me. I'm gonna go with Tala, of course, because that was kind of like that gives me hope to find new characters in such a short space, supporting character, but still have a big effect
Yeah.
on the series. But Vader, my God, I really wish we get like a Vader anthology of just like 6 episodes of Vader, just fucking things up. Right? In the comics, he had really good stories in the comics, so I wish they could just pick a few of the best and make it into.
The problem
live
with Hayden is because they're gonna have to be really creative to keep needing him because they don't need him anymore.
They don't
Unless
need. No, I
it's-
mean, I no,
unless
I
it's
figured.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
No, I figured just make him a voice character sometimes when he's out of the suit.
Yeah.
I know, but they're gonna have
Yeah.
to be creative to have him
Yeah.
talking without the suit.
With the suit, okay.
Yeah.
Like him,
You know,
him cleaning his armor. Oh,
Or
wait a
maybe,
minute. Whoop.
maybe when he's like force projecting himself. Oh yeah, I'm not in a suit. I'm Hayden. Something like that.
That is true, but I
Yeah.
wish we can have that.
Yeah. And then,
Uh,
and one more thing for me, like in terms of going back to Ewan McGregor's acting, if Moon Knight didn't exist this year, it's Ewan McGregor. But no,
That's true.
it's still Oscar Isaac,
It's
Oscar
true,
Isaac, and
yeah.
Oscar Isaac. Isaac.
That's true.
Like Oscar Isaac has to win Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Cameo.
All right.
Just because. Yeah.
That is it for episode 41 of the Plus 63 HP Reviews podcast, discussing the second half of the Obi-Wan Kenobi first season, hopefully, if not the special event. Again, get your mom's phone, your sister's phones, your friends' phones. Go to the YouTube app or to their browser, type in youtube.com/plus63hp. Subscribe to us, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you know when any of our multiple shows are dropping. We really appreciate the support. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Our handle is at +63hp. And if you don't want to watch us, you can listen to the pod, all of it, in any of your favorite podcasting app. Like we prefer Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon. Same handle at +63hp. Final goodbyes, CHUBAX.
Yeah. Happy they did Obi-Wan, but let's get some new stuff in. And
Alrighty.
hope you enjoyed with us.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for joining us for discussing Obi-Wan, watching Obi-Wan, and may the force be with you always.
Thank you for watching till the end. We hope to see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye. Bye, later, skaters.